Hopefully the angle's okay. I got a weird thing on my head. I got like a head strap on my head, and the mic is on my shirt. I look like an idiot. I don't know if you can see. I'm sure this angle is going to be wrong, and I watched a video on making sure the angle was right on this thing, because sometimes you're looking at the you can't really see very well because of the angle of this thing, and some people wear it upside down. But I got shit hanging from my head right now. Anyway, I'm in my 2015 Accord. People are going to be looking at me funny for sure. Hopefully the audio comes out okay, and the video I'm sure I'll have to kind of mess with, because the angle, I know you're supposed to not make any sudden movements when you're in here, but this isn't too bad, I guess. I mean, I got a little wire in my peripheral vision, but other than that, it's not too bad. This car actually has been it's been a good car. I've had it for about 4 years now, and it only has, I'm not sure how, again, I don't know how much you'll be able to see of this, because the camera angle, it might be too close or it might not be at the right angle, but has about 47,000 miles on it now on this car. I bought it with like 18,500, so I haven't put that many miles on it. 4 years, 30,000 miles roughly, and so it's only about 7,500 miles a year. Of course, last year there wasn't a lot of driving, and that's the interesting thing too. I mean, a lot of people that had jobs, or that now have jobs, that a lot of it can be done online or on like Zoom, or digitally. You don't have an office anymore, so it's curious if those people will really ever be going back to work at the same amount. I mean, it's good for the roadways and traffic that there's less congestion maybe, but a lot of people were kind of negatively impacted by that, and not as much foot traffic. Everyone's buying stuff online, and restaurants obviously are hurting if more people are not going out as much. If someone went to work, just a normal job, a lot of times they would eat out, right? I mean, I don't think there's a huge percentage of people that do like meal prepping or any of that stuff, right? That's a small percentage of people. So a lot of people would, and even I would. I mean, I went to the gym, a couple times a week back before COVID, but once or twice a week I'd go to Subway or something, or to some Mexican restaurant, and spend $20 or something per time. I guess Subway was only 10, but that's, and I don't go to a restaurant often, but that's been completely cut out. So it'll just be interesting to see. I think technology's kind of taken over, and so this guy, I don't know about that move. Technology is just becoming more prevalent, so people they don't want to interact, do everything, leave me alone. I'm going to buy stuff from my phone, deliver it to my door. I'm not going to go out to get groceries, deliver it to my door, ring the doorbell. I don't want to see you. Everything's just done on a phone, and on with a gift, with a credit card or a MasterCard or whatever. So interesting for sure. I think probably there'll be less driving. If you don't really have anywhere to go, then the only driving you do is kind of recreational. Or some people still, a lot of people still do go, maybe they go to the gym, or they go to their family members, or they go to the grocery store. I think a lot of people do that, but majority of driving for Americans or for people in general was just the everyday, 50-mile commute or 30-mile commute or 100-mile commute, or some people even did something a lot more than that every single day for work, right? And it would consume, probably an hour to 2 hours of their day every single day. If you think about that, that's a big time expenditure on something you have to do every day, and you're just traveling between 2 points. And so if you can just have your computer and not have to travel, well, there's another hour and a half, 2 hours you get back that you can maybe sleep or exercise or work more, and or spend it with your family at home. And you multiply that by 7 days a week, that's 15 hours a week, 12 to 15 hours a week of extra time. Well, maybe not on Saturday and Sunday, but some people work 6 days a week. So I don't know. I think cars are, I probably only, I think I'll probably only drive this car roughly 10,000 miles a year, sometimes probably even less than that. And I don't see myself ever really needing another car, I don't think, based on, if I just didn't want another car. This only has less than 50,000 miles, so probably would easily last another 15 years. With basically no maintenance. Now I don't know how far these modern Hondas can go, because obviously they're a lot less mechanical and more electronic in nature. So maybe you start having problems as the car gets like 20 years old. I don't know. But the older Hondas and older Toyotas, you see them all the time with 200,000 miles on them, all the time. Now the weirdest thing here is trying to avoid eye contact with people, because you got a camera on your face. You look like a total buffoon wearing this thing, by the way. You look like the guy from Deja Vu, from Denzel Washington, when he had that goggle rig on his face. It just looks crazy. But I'm going to stop over here and just make sure the angle, I want to get, some of the wheel and some of the windshield. Now, the only thing that I'm obviously more of a motorcycle guy, but, or I have been, but I've been driving my parents have a 1967, that Volkswagen Beetle. It's a 4-speed, really old car, really cool car, and, the engine's in the back, and it's, I've never driven a car like that. It's just so much of a different experience. And so the manual part of it, I'd never really learned how to drive a manual. My brother had a manual. He had a 300ZX back in high school, so about 10 years ago. And he really didn't let me drive it. He let me drive it for like 10 minutes one time, and I was banging the gears around, and I killed it a couple times because I didn't know what I was doing. Everyone who starts out, if you haven't ever driven a stick, you're going to kind of be a little rough at the beginning. And I definitely was, but so I never really learned. He basically, I was driving at one time and I sloshed around the gears, and he wasn't happy with that. So he said, okay, stop the car, put it in neutral, get out. So I stopped on the side of the road and I got out of the car. And that was the last time I drove a stick. And that was 10 years ago. And so I still really didn't know how to drive one. And then my parents have had this car for like 3 years now, I guess. It doesn't seem that long, but time goes by really fast. And I never really drove it. I didn't really have an interest in cars. I think my mom, she drove it around with me a few times, but she didn't really drive it either. It just kind of sits in their garage. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just take this, because they weren't around. And so I went there, and at their house, their cars are there. So I said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take this car out. And I still really, I knew how to do it, but I'm going to say the best way to learn how to drive a stick is you need to have someone there with you for the first probably hour, so that you if you really don't know what you're doing, they can help you. But the best way after you know just the basic fundamentals is to be left alone and to go drive for 45 minutes on your own and just going around town so you can really shift through all the gears. No one's barking at you. You can focus on hearing the engine and the revs of the engine and the shifting pattern and getting all of those to work in conjunction. And so that's what I did, and it really only took me probably about 2 days. The first day I was a little nervous, but then I got it down and I was, shifting confidently through the gears, and, was able to find neutral just fine and reverse and everything. So that was the best thing for me, and I realized, oh, okay, this is easy. I can do it. No one's barking at me. There's not a bunch of pressure. That's the thing too. Even when you're driving just a normal car, if you're in the car with other people, they always seem to want to give you feedback, like, oh, you should have gone, or you didn't turn your blinker on, or slow down, or it's just like, I swear, every time you go driving with someone else, and I'm a pretty conservative driver. I don't drive very fast at all, and I don't, my RPMs in this car, I just drive this car totally casually, and I do pretty much with every car, because I don't really want to go fast or anything, but if I've been in the car with a few people, and I think I took an Uber one time. This was many years ago, probably 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. The guy was just driving like a maniac. I couldn't believe it. I'm not used to people drive like when you have to use your brakes so much, that tells me that you're not, like the guy would be using his brakes because he'd just be tailing someone too closely. And I'm just like, you probably could slow down a little bit. You don't need to be driving so close to the guy, right? And I just felt nervous. But anyways, that's, you're in the car with other people. I guess that's the way it goes. I get on the freeway and I'm going like 70 miles an hour, and people are going 90. It's the average speed is like 85. So people just pretty much go as fast as they can. But anyways, back to that. So back to that, the car, it's I really enjoy it. It's a much more interactive experience. This is an automatic, so you don't get the experience of shifting the gears, so it's really not as fun. Driving a stick is much more interactive, I would say, and it keeps you engaged and it's entertaining. So that's why I kind of want to have a stick, and I really don't. I kind of want to buy or one day have just a beater stick car. It doesn't even have to be nice. I just want it to be a manual transmission because I like. I think it'd be fun to have a manual. It's a much more engaging experience. Anyways, that's the video for this one. I'm going to see how it turns out, and hopefully I'll make some more driving videos because it's a lot easier to go around and talk about stuff in a car. No wind noise, and you don't have to worry about the weather too, right? Because I'm in my little environment here. So anyway, guys, hopefully this video turns out okay, and if it leave a comment and subscribe if you like. I've been getting a couple more subscribers. I'm almost up to 100. I can't believe it. Took me 10 years to get 100. Tells you how much I care about it. Okay, guys, take care. Have a good day.